Welcome, beauties. This is the live Amplify training. And for the next hour, we're going to be going deep into how we can amplify our lives from the space that we are currently in into the beautiful grand space that our heart is deeply desiring. Honestly, is like 5 years of my fucking process in my internal world, the shape shifting, the growing, the evolution. Everything I'm going to share with you today is the culmination of all of that coming together, like worlds colliding and solidifying in the embodied experience. And I'm sharing this with you today as a gift, as a complete gift, because I want you to meet me here in this holy sacred space of true amplified actions. And I want you to learn and follow with me on this journey that we're about to hop into, that we're already in, honestly, on how you can amplify your life. So that's where we're going today. If you're hopping on and if you're new to me, my name is Tarani Nicole. I'm an embodiment facilitator and I'm a womb healer. So everything that I do is in service to the womb, is in service to the nature of our life being organic, prosperous, and nourished, just like the cozy mama energy. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. And I have notes. I have amazing notes. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at our notes because this process and this training that I'm going to be guiding today is very articulate in the way that I'm bringing it forward. So let's go ahead and begin by giving you permission to just drop into your womb, dropping into the body. And as you're taking a few deep breaths here with body, I invite you to welcome all of yourself here. Welcoming your mind into this time, welcoming your body into this moment, welcoming your spirit into this transmission. I want you to take 3 deep breaths into your sacrum bone and into your womb. And letting it all land. Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and light our candle. I'm just infusing the prayer of Amplify and all the energetics that I've been creating for this. Letting it be embodied through this candle being lit. Thank you, fire. There we have it. Alrighty, darlings. Okay, so I want to begin by sharing some context about my story, the journey that I've been walking over the last 5 years, and I can feel the emotions flowing because this is just so near and dear to my heart, what has landed. And it really begins with 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I had just dropped out of my dream college because I couldn't afford it. 5 years ago, I had just been raped by somebody that I trusted. And 5 years ago, I chose to start a community in Houston, Texas that would spark the spiritual awakening of the city. So these are 3 monumental experiences that took place 5 years ago. And this was a time where I felt like my life was falling apart. I had just been raped, right? And had to go through that whole experience of not just physically being raped, but then having to deal with the system and detectives and being questioned and rape kits and hospitals and just all of that intensity. I had to go through that. Simultaneously, I said yes to starting a really big community, a community that's still thriving today in Houston, Texas, that we would host sound healing circles and sound baths and women's circles and dance events and just really big community events to help people come back into their hearts and raise the vibration of the city. And at the time, there weren't any cool things like that going on in Houston. We really started that. And so I was in this process of grieving, dropping out of college because I couldn't afford it and because I had just been raped and could not handle the experience of going to college abroad because the dream college that I was in was so exquisite. It was experiential learning. I was traveling the world while learning and earning a college degree. It was so epic, but I couldn't afford it. So this context in the story is really important to know where I come from. That was only 5 years ago, which in the grand scheme of things is not that long ago. And as I reflect on the last 5 years of my life and how I literally went from college dropout to having to work at Papacitos, and I don't know if Landry's is in your hood or where you live, but Landry's is essentially a horrible food institution that has a bunch of restaurants and stuff like that. And I fucking worked at Papacitos as a vegan. So I was selling fajita meat as a vegan, trying to scrape $800 a month so that I could get out of my mom's house and start to become my own human while healing from immense trauma. So at that time, I actually had to quit that job as well because I could not handle going to work pretending to be somebody while I'm still in the very real trauma response of healing from this sexual assault. So I had to drop out of college, got a job, dropped out of this job. Then I was in a place where I was damn, I gotta figure something out. I need money. And this is such a real, raw experience that so many of us can relate to. Is whoa, this is hurting me, I can't do this anymore, and this is my fucking lifeline right now. And there's something really intense that happens when we break those patterns and we're no, this isn't serving me, I know I'll be taken care of. And that is the first seed of amplification that took place in my life. When I had to take that inspired action to cut out the shit that was dragging me down, that was torturing me and keeping me in a trauma cycle, and therefore choosing myself, choosing God, choosing Shiva, choosing Goddess, choosing Sophia, source code energy, to be my guiding light and provide for me. This is a declaration that took place. So that's the story of where I am coming from. Now, where am I 5 years later? I own a beautiful business that electrifies my heart, electrifies my life, where I get to serve women just like you through big life changes, all centered around healing their relationship with their body, with their wombs, and the outside world. I get to lead ceremonies, I get to lead dance rituals, I get to coach, I get to train people. It's amazing and I love it, right? But I didn't just get here by here we are, we fucking did it, we got out of mom's house, and we're here. No, it didn't happen like that. It was a whole journey, right? And so as I reflect on how I went from literally having no money, where I had to drop out of my dream college and I had to work a job that I hated, and started a healing circle community that was just taking donations, and maybe I would get $100 for a healing circle, maybe not, right? Wasn't attached to it, but I was doing it from service. That bred a revolution in my life that really stemmed from choosing. And this really begins our first topic of discussion here in this live training. The first topic that I want to talk about is, it's so powerful. I want you to receive this and let it land in your spine. Radical acts reap rich rewards. Radical acts reap rich rewards. I'm going to say it one more time for you and to let it land in your spine. Radical acts reap rich rewards. Is that something your body feels? Yeah, it's alive. So let's break this down. What is a radical act? A radical act to me lands in the space where I am having to make a decision. And that decision is, do I keep playing small or do I choose to be big? Right? Am I going to play small or am I going to be big? You can look at this in the beginning of my story where I'm like, am I really going to keep working this job that I fucking hate? Serving fajita meat as a vegan? Am I still going to keep doing that? Even when it's like literally making me relive my trauma, trying to fake it, trying to pretend that I'm okay when I'm not. Am I going to keep playing small and stay in that dimension? Or am I going to be big? Am I going to stand up for myself? And let me tell you something. When you stand up for yourself, you are standing up for the version of you that you are inviting forward into your life. And we're going to get more into that soon. But it all begins with a choice. And every single day we have the choice to either play fucking big or play really small, right? And these are the choices that define our reality. And what this really comes down to is that God, the quantum universe, Sophia, Christos energy, the Holy Spirit, is really smart. Really, really smart. So it's not going to give you something that you can't handle, that you don't have the capacity to hold, right? Say, for instance, like you want like the lover, you want the beloved, you want your partner to come into your life and you want to be in love, where you're like ready to have the babies and like have the home and like the cute mom car, right? You want to have that, but your nervous system, your body, the actions you are taking in your life do not convey that that's what you're ready for. So God is really smart. God's going to be like, I don't think she's ready for that. I think we need to throw her another curveball so that she can figure out how she can have her nervous system and her body be ready for that. So that's just like a really simple, really simple, example. Another example is like within our businesses, right? Okay, you say you want to manifest and align your soulmate clients, your kindred clients. You want to have 10 clients that are paying you great money for your great work and you're ready to hold them all. So you think. But your nervous system, your body, your actions you're taking in your life, the way you're showing up for yourself, if God gave that to you, it wouldn't be sustainable. You would burn out, right? And so we have to be really real with ourselves and look at the ways in which we're wanting to grow, the aspects in our life that we're wanting to expand into, and the actions that we're taking in our life. And we have to be honest. Are these actions breeding the change that I'm wanting to call forward? Or are these actions keeping me in the loop of playing small and tightening, saying I'm not worthy, right? Let me tell you something. You cannot meditate clients into your life. You will not manifest the lover by imagining him. You have to bring it into the body. Like this gorgeous temple body wants to feel it all because the plane of existence that we attract from exists within her or him, right? Exists within body. Body is in full service of us. And we have to bring all the dimensions of ourself online for the evolutions that we are wanting to call forward. Sister said, I love this so much. We get given grace if we ask for something we're not ready for, by life basically training us for it. That's exactly where we're headed, honey. So, I know most of you are aware of this, but we're going to bring this into this conversation as well. Source, the quantum, it matches us where we're at, right? So if we're wanting to magnetize or attract change in our lives, evolution, big level expansion in our lives, and we're like, oh, spirit, I want all the clients. I want the house. I want the lover. I want the body. I want it. But the vibration that's like ingrained in that prayer, in that ask, if it's like not fully online, like if your spirit's like, yeah, like we want that, like that's what we're here for. And if like your body's like, ugh, but your mind's like, okay, let's just put it out there because like I want to get it. Let's just see, like let's ask for it and see if we can get it. The energy that you're going to receive back is that like crunchy kind of manifested, but not the full thing. That's what you're going to get, because that's the energetic vibration that you're bringing forward. So the key here to amplify reality is to bring all three dimensions of yourself online. You want your mind online, you want your spirit online, and you want body online. And body includes everything. Like we could go so deep into what body means, right? We have the womb, we have the heart, we have the breasts, we have the throat, we have the jaw, we have the eyebrows, we have the hair, we have the shoulders. We have to check in with all these dimensions of our body and see what's holding on to that reality where we're like, ugh, why is my account negative again? This guy is a fucking boy. Ooh, I really don't like my house, but it's all I can afford. Those thoughts, those beliefs that say I'm not really worthy, or I'm stuck here, or like this is my fucking reality, those are the anchors that are holding you down. And let me tell you, cutting at them with like a machete is not the way to do it. You don't have to slay them. You get to love them and bring them back to wholeness and alchemize them with your mind, your body, and your spirit fully on board, so that you can explore the levity of rising into the dimension where it's all here, like that, right? And let me tell you something. In the last 5 years, which is really the culmination of this Amplify energy that we're talking about, in the last 5 years, I've experienced miracles. I've experienced tens of thousands of dollars coming into my life, not because I am special, but because I showed up for it. I let my body open its capacity to receive that, and I did the work to receive that. I showed up to life and said, I'm taking this action because I know this is what's on the other side of it. And that's the magic piece that we're going to get into. And let me tell you something. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so in order to amplify our lives, we have to take inspired actions that breed the change that we're wanting to cultivate in our life. Sometimes that change can be really small. Something as simple as having a morning practice and doing a specific breathwork practice to regulate your nervous system. Sometimes that change is really small by, pressing your hands together, bringing your full body online, your muscles, your nervous system, your breath online completely before opening your bank account, right? So there's little actions that we can take to amplify our life and create big change, and those little things are really fucking magical. But there's also really expansive, huge actions that we can take to even more amplify our life. Some of those actions would be like quitting the job that's holding you back. Some actions would be like buying the house, right? Getting out of the shitty apartment that you hate and buying the house. Saying, I know this house is going to up-level me, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. That could be hiring the mentor. Saying, okay, I see where she's at and I want to be there too. Let me study with her. Let me mentor with her. Let me train with her. Because that's the process that helps us evolve. If we're playing small and we're trying to do it all on our own, and we're not fully believing in ourselves, but we're trying to believe in ourselves, your growth's gonna be like this. It doesn't feel good. We don't really want that growth. The growth that we want is Do you feel that? Yeah. That's the growth that we want. We want growth that is full of levity, that's full of grace, that's full of ease, that's organic, that's spirally, it's vortexy, it's like yummy, it's like sparkly. That's the change that we want. We don't want the change that's like, like we're having to like every second we're trying to like break off shackles and like forcing ourselves to do things that we don't like because we want the change and we think that that's going to bring it, but it's not going to bring it. We don't want that. So I'm going to give you another analogy that feels really real. And this is kind of, this is important for you to understand and integrate and visualize how this is showing up in your life. So, if we have a prayer, if we have a desire, that can be anything in your life. Ask yourself, what am I really desiring in this time in my life? Maybe it's to start your soul-led business and have income coming through your life through work that feels really exciting and amplifying and that feels like genuine service to the world. Maybe that is as simple as like wanting the lover to show up, right? And wanting to be in that beloved energy. One conversation that I've been having with one of my clients is about sovereign financial wealth. Like she wants to be sovereign in her financial experience, right? So you can have any desire that you want, and there can be this tendency to be like, okay, I want it. Spirit, you know what I want. Like, I'm being really clear. I've been talking about it for like a year or even a week. Like, you hear me. I know the quantum universe, it hears me, right? And if you have not taken the necessary acts to amplify your reality into that dimension where you are receiving that, you're going to be cut short. And we don't really want to be cut short, right? So we're going to give it this analogy. We're going to talk about the experience of when you plug your phone into the charger into the wall. So all electronics have circuits that the electronic energy runs through, right? To give it the charge and the magnetization of what's coming into that energy or into that energy flow. Just like you plug your phone in, you have to plug it in and the energy has to run through the circuit to then run through the cord and come into your phone. And then your phone has its own circuit that it runs through and it all gets charged, right? So we can think about our experience of manifestation and changing our lives, cultivating change as a similar process. We plug in with the prayer. It has to run through a circuit to then run through us and run through our circuitry to fully come online. Now, there's something that can happen, right? When things aren't working in congruence. And one of those is like short-circuiting, right? And short-circuiting is something, of course, that happens in our system, but we're going to stay into this analogy. So, say for instance, we plug our phone into the charger and it short circuits. Basically, what a short circuit is like you have the circuit, this is the full circuit, and when you plug it in, instead of the energy going in the full circuit, it's skipping a step. It's cutting in line and it's going only here and not here, right? So it's skipping a set, and that is a short circuit. What happens when we have a short circuit in our electronics? It blows up. It fries. It causes a fire. Like fuses burn and break. We have to go reset our little thingies, right? We don't want short circuits. And a lot of people are walking, and I've been there. I've fucking been there. So a lot of people have walked through life short-circuiting themselves. I'm going to get it, I'm manifesting it, and like, oh, I was not ready for that. Oh, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. Because there's old codes still living in that circuitry that are cutting corners. There's a block. And we don't want that. We can't let that happen. Right? So how do we get ourselves out of the experience of short-circuiting? Where we have the desire, we have the dream that we want to manifest, we want to magnetize it, we want to attract it into our life. What do we do to end that short-circuiting system? Number one, we have to take actions that amplify the full circuitry to run its course, bringing everything online for that full experience to take place. And this is why the power of our choice is so extraordinary. Because when we take choices, it allows us to be up-leveled. It allows us to carry ourselves with beautiful, beautiful, radical, unshakable faith to the dimension where the millions live, where the family lives, where the house is, where the clients are, where the systems are in place for you to actually be financially free, to be liberated by love, to be relaxed in your body for your health and your vitality to flourish. We have to take actions to get us there. And this doesn't mean that it can't be quantum, right? Like, say for instance, hiring a mentor is like such a great example. Say for instance, like you're wanting to have your soul-led business. You're wanting to be making $10,000, $20,000 a month from your business. Yeah, you can build the sales page. Yeah, you can build the website. Yeah, you can do the affirmations and those kinds of things to bring it forward. But that growth is going to be like, and chances are you're going to be burnt out. So, a radical act that you can take to quantum leap you and allow your full circuitry, your full system to come on board for the change that you're asking for is to hire somebody that can help you up level in that way. Somebody who's walked that path, somebody that your electromagnetic field can resonate with their electromagnetic field, your nervous system can meet their nervous system, and you can up level with them. That allows the body, the mind, and the spirit to become fully online for the change that you're cultivating, right? So hiring somebody is a great example. Another example is like cutting out the things in your life that are dragging you down, right? So if you're working a job that you really don't like, you gotta quit that job, baby. There's so many jobs out there. Like in our country right now, there's a job shortage. So there's jobs out there that can pay you great money for great work that feels good in your system, that will grow your experience of financial freedom. Because financial freedom is not just overflow of money. Financial freedom is feeling free in your financial situation. So there's something beautiful. It's like, for me in my reality, in my beautiful business that I just love so much. I love my business so much. The work that I do is something I would do for free, right? And so there's something beautiful there of like, I want to be paid, and I am being paid great money for something that I would do for free because I love it so much. That's the kind of job you want to live. That's the kind of job that brings you into financial freedom. Because it feels expansive, it feels free. So there's amplified actions that I've had to take in my life to get there. Hiring mentors has been phenomenal. Taking courses have been phenomenal because I get to study it. My mind, my body, my spirit, my heart, everything's online, and I'm studying it and I'm going into that channel. Moving houses has been monumental for my up levels. Moving houses has probably been like one of the biggest amplifiers next to hiring my mentors. Like when the first house Dash and I lived in, that was like the first house I moved in after I lived with my mom. It was in League City, Texas, which is not my favorite place I've ever lived. Definitely not. And the house was like so run down, so old. The floors were like different heights. Like you literally felt like you were drunk as you're walking through the house because the floors were like literally like wonky. The carpet was red. It was not good. It was a really ugly house. And I felt that vibration when we were there, like we never wanted to be there, but it was all we could afford. And so when our lease was up, we took that leap of faith and we said, let's get in a better house. Even if it costs a couple $100 more money every month, we're going to do it. So we took that action. We moved into the Heights, which is a really hip and beautiful area in Houston, Texas. And we got this house with like really nice wood floors and like gorgeous trim everywhere. It was really old. It had a nice backyard, gorgeous master bedroom. Let me tell you, that move was what got me in my financial freedom. Moving into a better house, the foundation of my life. I started my business like fully sovereign in that time where I was no longer taking side gigs, no longer helping out friends, no longer, slanging little plates of food every now and then. I was fully in my business when I moved into that house. It was so phenomenal. And when I signed that lease, that's not something that I thought I was going to be able to do. I was actually looking for jobs to bring in that side income. And then the moment we landed that house, I was like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give myself 3 months to just focus on hosting my healing circles, doing my in-person energy healing sessions, and selling an online course. My first online course came through that house. I'm just gonna try it. And that amplified action gave me the electricity for the full circuit to land where my system could fully sustain itself financially without working a job that I did not love, right? So it's not, it is magic, right? I totally believe in magic, but also it's like not magic. It's not like I waved a wand and poof, it appeared. It's like I had to take inspired action to make it happen, right? So what's the key here? The key is that amplified actions are what change our reality. If you stay exactly where you're at, yet you have a really big prayer that you want to up-level into, it's going to be really hard for you, babe. And I don't want you to exist in that reality. I want you to exist in a reality where you have a really big prayer, you have a really big desire, and you not only say, God, Goddess, Quantum Universe, get me there, but you're willing to take the necessary actions that give you the context, the education, the nervous system regulation to actually up-level there and be able to sustain it. Because you can do things, and you can do the things, and I've been here in my business, right? Like, when I was living in Houston, I had like full-blown healing circles every week, hosting healing circles, hosting markets, selling my apothecary products, and I wasn't satisfied. I was not satisfied. I was like, oh, this feels like a drag. Like I have my own business, but like I'm carrying it all here. Ugh. And I had to shed things. I had to let things die so that I could land into a place where I felt elevated by the service that I was bringing to the world. That meant quitting Houston Healing Circles. That was really hard. That was so hard. It was really hard. That meant leaving Houston, moving to a whole new city. And that meant closing my apothecary. Yeah, it was really hard because I loved making herbal products, but it wasn't satisfying anymore. So there's certain things in our life that we have to X out and we have to clear, cancel in our life so that we can make room for the change that we're really wanting to cultivate. Because those things are weights that are holding us back from being able to genuinely elevate and be able to amplify into the reality that we're calling forward. So it's really important to know that. And then with that, we have to take inspired action, right? Whether that's moving to a different house or moving into a different city, hiring the mentor, taking the course. And there's nuances that come into the body, that come into the mind, and come into the spirit. And it's been such a privilege and such a gift to be able to listen to these nuances in my life and to support clients to listen to those nuances. But when you see something and you're like, that feels really good. I want that. I want to learn from her. Yes, that feels good. But then we get into the story of I can't afford it. And if I do that, then I don't have as much money in my bank account. And blah, 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 blah. All the things that we say that hold us back from actually amplifying into the reality that we want. We have to change that narrative. We have to change that story. And we have to take amplified actions that get us there. Because the nuances of those desires of like, whoa, that looks really powerful. That is your key that plugs you into the next dimension of your up level. That is how you get from A to B with grace and ease. Let me tell you. And sometimes that means you have to take a leap of faith. And I know that's really fucking hard. I know it's so hard to take those leaps of faith sometimes, but let me tell you, it is worth it. It is so worth it. When I'm sure those of you who've been following me for a while, you felt my transformation when I went to Egypt. When I signed up for Egypt, I didn't have the money for Egypt. I didn't have $12,000 to fly to the other side of the world and go into temples and live in luxurious hotels. I really didn't have it. But taking that leap of faith, taking the action and being like, my soul's calling me forward, I'm going to do this. The amplification was real, baby. The amplification was real. Now here I am in overflow. My whole cellular system is different. The way that I relate to ceremony is different. The way I relate to life is different. And that is the medicine that amplifies us into the dimension of infinite wealth, of soul-led prosperity, of a life where we are satisfied. It doesn't happen by keeping ourselves in a small container where we're not satisfied. It happens by saying, fuck this, let's clear it out, let's take the inspired action to move forward into the dimension that I'm ready to up-level into. That's how you amplify your life. You don't amplify your life by short-circuiting yourself. You don't amplify yourself by cutting yourself short. Don't do that. I promise you will get burnt out. If you want to amplify your life into the dimension that your up level is calling you forward into, take the necessary steps to get there. And what does that require, my loves? It requires you to listen. It requires you to listen and take radical acts that up-level you. It takes listening and taking action to amplify into the dimension that you want to be in. You know? That's how we amplify. That's how we get from A to B with grace and ease. It's by listening and taking those actions. All of you are here because you want to amplify your life. You are in a current life experience where you're not satisfied, perhaps you're burnt out, perhaps you're annoyed. That's where you are, and that's okay. Recognize that, honor that, feel that. Allow yourself to feel the guttural sensation of not being satisfied. Feel it. Then ask it, what are you asking of me? What do you need from me? Right? Have a conversation with that lack of satisfaction in your life. What are you? What are you stemming from? Get to know that piece of you. And then figure out what amplified actions you need to take place in your life to cancel, clear, delete that lack of satisfaction and to actually take the elevated action into the dimension where you are so satisfied and turned on by life. Because I promise you, that reality is here for you. The life that I am living, the life that I walk, the nourishment that I feel, the team that I get to pay, the jobs that I get to provide through my work, the house that I get to buy in like 3 or 4 months, all of that is here for you too. You get to live that reality too. It's not that I'm lucky or that I'm blessed. No, I did work to get to where I am. I took amplified actions to get to where I am. I'm not a miracle. It's not a miracle that I healed my sexual trauma when I was raped 5 years ago. No, I did the work to allow myself to exist in a reality where I feel safe in my body again. It didn't happen overnight. There's something, and we're going to close this on this word. One of my mentors said this to me, and it fucking hit me so deep. Slow is steady, and steady is fast. Slow down. Be present. Listen to the inner workings of your life. Take steady steps that create momentum, that electrify you and amplify you into the reality that you're ready to call forward. And that's how the fast changes happen. The changes that I've experienced in the last 5 years, so monumental, so gorgeous, it's so visceral, like I feel it, my heart just opens every time I think about it. That could have taken me 10 years. I'm only 24 years old. My soul is very old, and I came here with a lot of past life memories, so if you're like, what? Yeah. It could have taken me 10 years, but it took me 5 years. It could have taken me until I was 30 to start my business, but I chose to do it at 18. It's because I took the amplified actions to get me to where I am today. And from this space, I invite you to take the amplified actions that are going to get you into the place that your heart is so deeply craving and desiring. I welcome you there. I invite you to take your amplified actions. And it's up to you to decide what that is for your life in this time. And of course, I am so here to be on your team as you take those amplified actions. I want you to go on this journey with me. I want to gift you the package deal of the life that I live, and boop. Because let me tell you, it's a blueprint. It's a blueprint. So, if this conversation has inspired you, babe, I welcome you to join me in the Medicine Keepers online course. This program is 5 years in the making. It's everything that I've learned as a soul-led entrepreneur. It's everything that I've learned on my healing journey and learning how to offer this healing template to the world. It's everything that has put me into a space where I can publicly speak in this way. It is the backbone of the energy that I bring forward in my business. Medicine Keepers is a really big amplification in everybody's life who joins. So, if this resonates, if you're ready to amplify, especially if you want to be financially sovereign and financially free and you want to have a soul-led business, I welcome you into the Medicine Keepers. This course is not expensive. This course is fairly cheap, especially because everything in this course is going to make you more money. I can really clearly see that everybody who takes this course is going to make 10x their investment. Easy. So that is what's happening in my reality. That's why this Amplify experience is so present in my life, because I'm at a place where I'm finally offering the Medicine Keepers course, which is the culmination of all the work that I've done, everything I've learned in the last 5 years that has led me to living and walking and cultivating a soul-led business that makes me a lot of money. It's so beautiful. And of course, if you want to dive even deeper than a 9-week course, then join me in a one-on-one mentorship. So one-on-one mentorship is a beautiful way to really up-level and to work with me one-on-one, because this conversation that has supported you, that has electrified you, that has already amplified you just from receiving the words, when you join me in a one-on-one mentorship, you basically get this transmission that's completely catered to your own soul. So the same energy that I bring right here, that's what's coming forward in our one-to-one work, right? And that is a huge amplification that's so big, so glorious that your human self can't even fully see it right now, because it is in a whole different dimension. And when you work one-on-one with me, you get all my courses for free during that time period. So if you want to work one-on-one and you are feeling turned on by the Medicine Keepers course, that's a great way to go. Alrighty, lovies. So that is my offering. That is what I'm inviting you into as an amplified action. And I'm sure there's so many other little actions that have come online for you that you need to take in order to create more change in your life. So that's my invitation today, is take your amplified actions. Make it happen. Alrighty, beauties. And I have one more thing that I get to offer here, and that is a Q&A. So I have 10 minutes to take some questions. So if any of you have questions around how to up level, how to take amplified actions, things around, business, things around relationships, you have the opportunity right now to ask me a question. So please tune into your body and listen to what's coming up for you, having gone through this entire conversation, and see if there's something in your body that needs to be asked. And I welcome you to take the amplified action by asking it. These are the little nuances that create change in our life, is when we choose to speak up, we choose to be vocal, we choose to ask for help, we choose to be led. So ask your question. How to get the mind and spirit into the body deeper. How to get the mind and the spirit into the body deeper. A few things come up as I reflect on my experience of this cultivation. First one is, how is the quality of your breath? The breath gets to be our bridge that brings all the dimensions of ourself into cohesion. So if you want to bring your mind and your spirit into congruence with your body, the breath is your rainbow bridge. On the inhale, you get to see the spirit and the mind, and then on the exhale, they descend into the body. So that's a really good way. There's also other actions you can take. Another action that is really supportive for me is cold plunging, or jumping into a body of water. I'm like, okay, mind, body, spirit, we're all in different dimensions. Let's come back into one dimension. I'm jumping into this river right now, and it's beaming me into unison. And so if you're experiencing disconnection, there's really easy actions you can take to bring it all into unison. And sometimes different things are required to make that happen. So what I would recommend for you is to ask your body, what do you need to invite the mind in? What do you need to invite the spirit in? And then listen to what that action is. Thank you for your question. Okay, there's a lot of questions coming in, so I'm kind of choosing which one to go. So I think this next one is really important. What is the number one thing you did to feel safe plus connected in your body? Presence. 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 You can't feel safe in your body if you're not with your body. A lot of times we try to bypass the presence. Like if you're not feeling safe in your body, it's because you're scared of presence with the body. So go lay on the earth, find a park with grass and trees, and go lay on the earth, set a timer for 45 minutes, and tell me how you feel in your body. And I bet you'll feel a lot safer in your body just by that simple action. Okay. How do you get past the fear of failure to make the conscious action necessary for your soul up level? That's a good question. It's so funny because in my experience, I've had to look at this so deep, and what I've concluded is that it's an illusion. It's illusion. It's just an illusion. Break it away. Let it go. Yeah. Failure isn't real. Failure is a construct that society has ingrained into us to make us think that we're less than anything than grand. I've had failed launches. I've failed in relationships. Yeah, whatever. Those taught me great lessons. So if you're scared to take action because of failure, that's an even greater reason to take that action, because you know that there's something really valuable for you to learn in that process. And chances are you will surprise yourself. You will be like blown away by what comes forward because you moved from a space of trust. You moved from a space that said, okay, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to take this step. We're going to see what happens. I know there's something to learn here. I'm ready to learn it. And the more that you turn on to that truth of I'm ready to learn it, I'm ready to take that action so that I can learn this, the more and more you deepen into that up level. Both downwards, rooting, like the roots are well nourished, and the branches are like, yeah. So that's my answer on how to get past the fear, is to, one, acknowledge that that's an illusion, right? That's been ingrained into you from society. And two, that nuance of fear is a reason that you need to charge forward, because you need to clear that in order to get to where you want to go. If you're still living in the dimension that's acting based off of fear, then you're not up-leveling. So if you want to up-level, take the conscious action to face the fear, show yourself what you're made of, and rise into the beautifulness that is here for you on the other side. Okay, how to know if the amplified action, which I'm thinking about, would be the right one. Like quitting my job is very risky financially. I hear you, babe, and I've been there. So the biggest thing that we need to do is to set ourselves up for success. Whatever amplified action that we are taking in our lives, we want to set ourselves up for success. And of course, there's like coaches and like people and like so many people in the world who have like done radical acts of change where they've invested $40,000 when they couldn't pay their rent, right? So there's miracles can happen, right? Blessings come through when we open the doors for change to happen. And my first recommendation for you is to have faith that what you are feeling is for you. And it's not just your own desire, but there's actually something on the other side of that is desiring that for you. It's a prayer that you get to answer. So that's something that I want to share first as you're coming into this. And then setting yourself up for success, then that really looks like saving the money so you can quit the job, so that you have some buffer of, 2 to 3 months of rent to like have spaciousness to find another source of income. That looks like starting your small business, starting your services, getting money from multiple sources to sustain yourself so that you can quit that job. So it's up to you to know how to set yourself up for success. Sometimes we have to take those big leaps that are like radical acts of change where we're like, I don't know how it's going to work out. And let me tell you, when you're in those times where you're like, I don't know how this is going to work out, that's when your energy pushes forward to make it work even more sometimes. So that's my answer to your question. I hope that was supportive. Okay. How do I activate my sacral chakra and turn on my sexual magnetism in a healthy way? Number one, you have to look at where you're sexually essentially blocked, right? So this can happen from trauma. I know you also spoke about womb trauma. So this blockage can be from trauma. There's things that block us. There's systems, there's programmings that have been ingrained into us that block our ability to fully feel the sensuality and the sexuality course through our body. So first you have to look at those blockages, and then you get to activate it by feeling safe in your body. When you feel safe in your body, you're turned on. You're like, whoa, this candle is so gorgeous. Like literally this candle is so beautiful. And it turns you on. And then as you're in that turned on space, the magnetism just starts happening because you are porous for more beauty to enter your life. That's the only reason we want more money, that we want the lover, that we want the house, that we want to move into a different city. It's because we want to experience more beauty. So you have to be turned on to more beauty. If you want support with that, I have a self-paced course called Sovereign Sensuality, which is all about that. And you can easily find it on my website. Is Medicine Keepers a suitable course for someone who doesn't know how they want to serve in this world yet? Yes, because we are solidifying that mission for everyone. So whether you already know what your service is to the world or you don't, we're crystallizing it and we're solidifying it, and we get to spark that fire that brings it forward. So yes, 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 yes. Medicine Keepers is for you. Okay. All right. Yay, that feels good with all the questions. I hope that was all supportive and every single word that poured out of me to you and that this live was supportive. It's been a joy to be here with you all. I humbly bow to all that you are and all the places and dimensions in your life that you are currently working through. I send unconditional love to all the spaces that you are doing deep work on yourself. Trust me, I know. I've been there. And it's all happening, honey. So take your amplified actions. Join me in the Medicine Keepers course if that feels fucking good. And I bet it does because I see all them hearts. And yeah, message me if this resonated with you and you want to dive deeper. Feel free to message me. I'm always happy to talk in the DMs. See you on the other side, babes.